Welcome back, LTB gang. I'm Scott Argenbright. This is my fishing buddy,
Nolan Gusky.
and he took a tungsten off the eye a little bit ago, but he's actually a hammer. You guys are going to see. So you've asked for it. We've fished a lot from the boat this summer. Today we're going to break down the bank, heavy cover, flipping Texas rigs. You're going to want to stay tuned.
Here we go.
Bank rule number one, guys, moving water. Anytime you can find a culvert, a bridge where you got moving water underneath, any type of moving water whatsoever, especially in the south, the bait fish, everything is going to congregate right in front of that moving water, right in the opening. High percentage to catch a fish there. Those are the areas that you want to hit. That's bank rule number one. So when you've got this moving water, you're going to look for a few different things. You're going to try flipping into this slack. There's going to be slack water here on the edges, and those fish are going to stack up in that slack water, and they're looking for the bait to come drifting by so that they can ambush and they can eat. So if you flip into that slack water, a lot of the times you're going to get bit. The other thing that you're going to want to do is throw up current if you've got a different type of bait, maybe it's not a heavy bait, and let it float down, with the current, just like that the bait is moving, the natural flow of the bait. Bank rule number two, don't hit your buddy with the tungsten from the Texas rig. You need to make sure you're watching. That's number two. That might be number one. Number two, we'll go with that.
Put my phone in the box, that way I can't forget it. If I do, I'm gonna regret it.
The ideal bait for getting through this heavy cover, getting down to those fish that are just waiting under there to ambush and eat, is a Texas rig. The reason for that is you're gonna peg your weight on the top of there. It's not gonna get caught up in that grass, and then you're making sure that you're going all the way into the plastic, making it weedless. That's gonna allow you to flip into this heavy cover, slide it right down in there, and get those fish to bite. The other reason is a lot of the time you're gonna have, out in front here we got some matted grass. You need to be able to get through that matted grass and down into past that cover. That is the setup and what you need to be successful when fishing that heavy cover is a Texas rig, any kind of creature bait. We also had the Flappy Daddy in one of our previous boxes. You can use that one too. It's a little bulkier, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get into that cover, but also a really good bait. Any kind of creature bait that you can slide into the heavy cover. The other big thing to keep in mind is if you have sparse pads, sparse cover when you roll up to the bank, you're going to want to throw a jig or that ribbon tail worm. Two really good baits to throw down those grass lines on those little cuts in the pads where those fish are going to be waiting to ambush. Throw those two baits, drag them through there, you're going to get bit. All I'm doing is making short flips to the fish. We got a Texas rig style. It's a little messed up here, and we're catching them. All you got to do, guys, find a stretch of bank, make some nice little short flips. Those fish are there, especially if you got good depth, like 3, 4, 5 feet. Those fish are going to be there, and this is a perfect bait to Texas rig and just flat out catch them. Bank rule number 3, do not show up to the heavy cover game with a little fairy wand. Make sure you've got a good heavy action rod. 50 pound is probably ideal, 65 pound braid. You got a heavy weight on there. I mean, look at this cover here. You're gonna have to wrench them out of there. So make sure that you're prepared. That'd be tip number 3 when you show up to heavy cover on the bank.
One tip that I'd give you that really helps me when I'm catching bass is wading into the water when you can. It gives you a better casting range and everything. But I know you guys down south can't all the time because of the gators and the other weird critters you got down there. But that's one thing that'll help you catch more bass.
Got small little dollar pads here. You can flip that Texas rig literally into anything. You got 50 pound braid. That's gonna let you wrench them out of there when they bite. Make sure you hit that edge with the jig. Any kind of transition you see, you want to throw it right down that grass line or that pad line and drag it back. There you go, attaboy. We hope you guys picked up something so that when you go strutting up to the bank, you can catch a big one. What do you think?
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
We'll see you on the water next time.
Wham!